Today, we're discussing the power of having a positive mindset. This is something every entrepreneur needs to listen to today. Joining us now is international speaker, best-selling author, but you know him as a former NFL running back, Mr. Merril Hoge. Merril has been featured on ESPN, CBT News, ASPN News, and USA Today to add to his list of many accomplishments. So welcome back to the show, Merril. Very much appreciate you taking the time with us.
It's my pleasure. It's good to see you again.
Sure.
I'm glad you're growing.
We are growing. So last time, that you were here, we discussed your book, Find a Way. Great book. Everybody should read it. If you're listening to us have this discussion today, we're going to make a link right below this video that you're watching so you can pick the book up, but it is a must read. Could you share any new projects or updates you've been involved in since then?
Well, I think since the last time I was with you guys, I actually republished Find a Way, which I didn't know you could do that when you write a book, because I was at a speaking event and a professor came up to me and she goes, is your open heart surgery or your ESPN stuff in there, the end of your career?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I go, it's not, because all of that happened after I wrote the book. She goes, well, why don't you republish it and put it in? I was like, I never know you could do that. So I republished it. And it's things that you don't know. And then I've been passionate. I mean, really speaking has been, since really talking, it was a focus then, is really my passion now and my main platform. I run a program at the National Football League called the Way to Play program that we helped establish like 6 years ago. I've done work with the Steelers with scouting and football, but really this avenue now has been where I have committed to. I've tried to learn more about the business. I've tried to grow my own message and tried to help inspire others with the message. And that's what it's about.
Well, and that's exactly what we wanted to talk to you about today, because you do such an incredible job speaking all over the country. You're one of the foremost authorities on keeping a positive mindset. You've been through a lot, so you really walk the talk there. But so with that in mind, and with Find a Way, how do you cultivate a positive mindset on a daily basis, both in your personal and professional life? There's a lot of people out there have gone through some difficult times, and it's difficult to remain positive.
Well, here's what I do say every time I go speaking. I always have calls to get ready to understand the environment I'm walking into, the people I'm going to be speaking to.
Yep.
And it never fails that when we get done finding out they have goals, they have dreams, they have challenges, they have deadlines, they have things that they want to change. They have all these circumstances. So I always start off, we are more alike than we are not.
That's right.
Because we all are experiencing those things. And personal success, you just mentioned, it matters. Personal success in your craft and profession matters. And in your own personal life, that matters. Now, how can we garner that? How can we go about that process? Well, on accident at age 12, I did this very first experience, but it's one of the most powerful things you can ever do. I always tell people, like, at some point during my message, I ask people, do you control your mind, or does your mind control you? And at the end of the day, that is where everything starts and ends, because everything I just mentioned, whether it's a deadline, a challenge, a change, something starts right here with a positive thought process or a negative thought process, but it starts here. So how you control your mind is vital. One of the most powerful tools that you could ever do to help control your mind are visuals. Having things where you start and end your day, whether they're words or pictures, things that you're trying to envision, you're trying to change, seeing them on a daily basis is critical at controlling your mind.
Yeah.
But that's just the start. And I started doing this at age 12. So, initially I didn't realize it. Just the words Find a Way and the goal of playing in the National Football League were put on my cork wall in my bedroom. And those visuals are the first times that I've ever experienced that. But then what I have learned over all of these years is that the ability to constantly self-evaluate, those visuals are important, but to check on yourself, where are you? Challenge yourself, to widen your scope. Whatever plan of action that you have in place right now, look at it. Is it the right plan of action? It's okay to adjust and say, it's not working for me. Readjust, create a new plan. But constantly moving forward, constantly taking action, constantly self-evaluating yourself. That's how we grow. That's how we evolve. And that's how we get better. And that's how we really come to personal success. And I tell people there's one of the greatest personal gifts you could ever give yourself is at the end of a goal, a dream, a challenge, a circumstance you're trying to change, in a moment of self-reflection, you ask yourself, hey, did I do my part?
Yeah.
And you answer yes to that.
Yeah.
That's all that we can do, is get the most out of our God-given abilities, use everything, that all access that we have at that time. You can't wait 10 years down the road and go, boy, if I'd have known that. At that time,
Right.
I gave everything I had. I tried everything I could. I widened my scope. I tried different things. And this is where I ended up. And wherever you ended up, I say you should have peace with that, because you can't ask anything more of yourself. And I think that has given me balance. And because there's many things in life I went after, and I didn't quite get to where I wanted to go. Like playing in the National Football League, I wanted to win a Super Bowl. Never won a Super Bowl. I struggled with that for years. And it was actually in a moment of self-reflection that I realized two things. Teams win championships, not individuals. And I did my part to help the team win a championship. I was prepared. I worked hard. I was uncommon. So have peace with that.
Sure.
That isn't, a way to have, say, you didn't get it, so have consolation. No, that's a great achievement, to get everything out of your God-given ability towards whatever it is you strive for. And once you've exhausted that, just have peace with that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question about it. That was fantastic, and I completely agree with you. Was it your dad or your mom that put those words on the bulletin board for you, or did?
Well, actually, you know what? I initially, I never thought this would happen, because I had a problem when I was a kid. I had a little brother.
Okay.
And actually, one of the first things that I'd ever heard in school, actually, teachers would say, hey, write your goals down, put them up in your bedroom. It's where you start and end your day. First time I ever heard that.
Wow.
I was like, that is a great idea. But like I said, I had a problem. I mean, my little brother, so if I put something on the wall, it always came down. So I would pray diligently every night that he would disappear. And it doesn't mean I didn't love him. I wanted my own bedroom.
Of course.
But I would lay in bed at night and fall asleep, and I would think of the one thing I had never seen in a bedroom. But if I had one, I would ask for it. And that was a wall of cork. And it was actually a few years later that our concrete basement that we had in Pocatello, Idaho, which was our playground in the wintertime, my dad said, hey, listen, we're gonna convert that to 2 bedrooms, a family room, and an office space.
Sure.
He goes, that's the bad part. The good part is, Merril, you're gonna have your own bedroom. And when he said that, I go, could you make me a wall of cork? He asked why. I explained. He said, I can't promise you anything, but we'll see what we can do. But he did make me it was a half a wall of cork. There was a wood chair rail, and then there was a half.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Man, honestly, I said, okay, it was big enough. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And that's where I started pinning up goals. And that's when the first experience I ever had at visuals, and how important visuals were. But
for sure,
those visuals do constantly challenge you to self-evaluate. Like, where are you in that process?
Yeah.
Is there more things you could be doing or should be doing? Is there somebody that can help you? You might be stuck. Listen, I'm a product of a lot of people, from Walter Payton to Chuck Noll to my own kids. From my wife, all these people, like a litany of people I could tell you that have inspired me or challenged me in my life, or I wouldn't be where I am. And if people will take those things and apply them in any way they see fit, and realize this right here is my greatest tool. How do I empower that? How do I strengthen that? And how do I exercise it each and every day to work for me versus against me?
Yeah, boy, that's fantastic. Considering your experience in team sports and now in business, how do you incorporate a positive mindset on a team for a team? Like, because it's so much, it's so important, I should say, to make sure everybody in that boat is rowing in the same direction. If you're a leader of an organization, of a company, a small business, big business, whatever it might be, how do you get others to think the way you think?
Well, one of the things, I don't believe you could change people's mind. I've been asked this question a lot, and people go, how can you do that? I go, well, nobody has that power. I go, I can't change anybody's mind. But maybe I could inspire them or influence them. And the most powerful way you can do that is really not by pontificating.
Yeah.
It is about modeling.
Yeah.
What they see you do.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, and I've learned this more I learned it really from parenting, but then have transitioned it into coaching and business, that you can give the greatest speech known to mankind.
Yeah.
And then you walk out and you do the complete opposite of what you just said, and they see that.
Yep.
They are going to do what they saw do.
That's right.
Not what they heard you say.
That's right.
100% of the time.
Yep.
So, what we say does matter, but what they see you do is powerful
So
and
true.
impactful. And I've tried to tell people in a leadership role that I think there's a lot of important things, but if you had to narrow it down to two, it was one, from a leadership perspective, invest in yourself.
Yeah.
There's no greater investment a person can give than to take care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, to be balanced and
That's right.
strong, because then you can serve others.
That's right.
And then how they see you model, what they see you do, make sure that is echoing and in line with what you're saying, because this right here will now really emphasize this. And now you get movement. Now you get people, and challenge your people. I've always said, it's okay to challenge people, but in that process, believe in them.
That's right.
I've had many times where somebody has completely failed. I've put them in that exact same scenario and go, the reason I did it, because I know you made the mistake. I know it ain't going to happen again. That's why I'm trusting you. And once you give that ownership to them, versus belittle them, berate them. And there's always times that you got to challenge people and there's accountability, but the belief that you got to give in your people, I think, is so important to get the best out of them and help them grow and evolve.
Boy, I couldn't have put it better. I mean, that's exactly true. I mean, everything that you just said, I'm thinking right now in the companies that I've run and I've been involved in, everything you just said applies. So thank you for that. Before I let you go, who are you favoring in the Super Bowl this year, since we're now in December?
Well, I just said it. Somebody just asked me that last night. Go, who's going to win the Super Bowl? I go, the best team. I go, what? And I go, that's true. I go, I'm just tell you this: teams win championships, and I can tell you, I can like in the NFC, you can say, okay, yeah, Philly could win it, San Francisco could win it, Detroit could win it. I mean, they're all really good football teams.
Yeah.
I don't, injury. We got a lot of football left. Think about it. You got roughly
You
10
do.
games
You
till
do.
you got to the Super Bowl.
That's right.
In the AFC, you got Kansas City. You've got Jacksonville. You got all these other AFC teams that are, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, who just keeps finding ways to win, haven't played their best football, but if they get red hot at the right time, you never know. So, the best team, that's why I say that at the end of the day, the NFL is about an update league. Things constantly change.
Yeah.
But I will promise you this: the team that wins it at the end will be the best team, and we'll play the best on that day as a team.
Yeah.
Not an individual.
That's the key.
Just an individual.
The key.
It is. It is so vital. I say football is the greatest team game I've ever played, but life like this, experiences like this,
right.
Being able to be on your show and share messages like this, life's the greatest team game. We get to help grow from each other and evolve.
Well, we appreciate you being on our show so much. So many people wrote in and sent us text messages and emails last time you were on. Your story is extremely inspirational. A lot of people get a lot out of what you share with them. So thank you so much for joining us once again on the show. Congratulations on all your success. And Merril Hoge, international speaker, best-selling author, but of course, you're probably going to know him as one of the best NFL players out there, running back. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Always great to be with you.
Great. Thanks.